So I think the best way to start talking about the 2009 film Gamer is just to read off some of the character names. I'm just going to pluck a few of these out of the hat. There are worse ones. Pigface Ron.
Okay. Yeah.
Good one.
To Catch a Predator. Cum Dumpsters both 1 and 2.
Yep.
Oh.
And that's also with a K. Cum Dumpsters. Yeah.
Sticky Muffin.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite, Sissy Puss Shelley. I don't think that's ever even referenced in the movie.
It is. Her
Okay.
username is on screen once. I wrote it down.
Okay, good. And then underlined it 4 times.
She's always pushing a rock up a hill.
And then, of course, who could forget Ben Richard?
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the worst of all possible worlds, the home of Ben Richard. I'm the worst of all possible Joshes.
I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
And I'm the worst of all possible Bryans. And if you couldn't tell from the opening where we explicitly said the topic that we were covering, we're going to be covering Gamer 2009.
That's
this
right.
week.
The movie everyone has seen before. Gamer
That's right.
2009.
You might recognize that fourth voice that you're hearing here because we've got a returning guest with us.
It is a tiny hacker kitten in real life, very small kitten, maybe a foot high, who most recently appeared on our show to talk about William Gibson's Neuromancer. And in her own time, she's also a prolific DJ and shit poster. Maia, Arson, crimew, welcome to the show.
Welcome. I'm happy to be back. I did have to stack up a lot of books to reach my microphone today, so that's also why it took so long for me to get back. I had to read more books after Neuromancer.
Right.
In order to pile them up so you could make it to your microphone.
Exactly.
Maya, it's so good to finally be on an episode with you after missing your first 2 appearances on this show.
I can also finally confirm to all my fans that AJ is indeed real. I did not believe that until today, but now I have substantive proof that he may in fact be real.
Yeah, we had to wait for generative AI to catch up with us.
And actually, this is the craziest thing, is that AJ is actually just an avatar. I am puppeting his body, and I'm going to make it do very lewd things later on.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh,
That's
dear.
why you have a Super Grok subscription now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Gamer, shall we? This is a
Let's do
fucking piece of shit that you have we're gonna have the opportunity to dig into. After having watched it, Maia, I think I understood broadly why you wanted to talk about it on our show specifically. Because the first time you came on our show was to talk about Hackers, which is, I would say, a better movie than
It's
Gamers.
way
fantastic.
Yes.
But also is very aesthetically unusual in a lot of ways. And I feel like a lot of the things that Hackers is trying to wrestle with, these questions of the lines between real space and cyberspace, the relationships between people and how they operate in these mixed ways. A lot of these are themes that Gamer is also trying to tackle. And
Emphasis
I would
on
say
trying.
Very poorly, but definitely trying. And I guess I'm just curious, first of all, what is your relationship with this movie?
Sometimes I have these phases where I go and watch dad action movies that are just for dads, just male power fantasy, no content whatsoever. You are in the Secret Service and you're saving the president. But I was watching a bunch of those. I was rating them surprisingly highly on Letterboxd, and someone I vaguely know on Letterboxd replied going you should watch Crank. So I watched the Crank movies. Then a week later, I watched them again to show them to my girlfriend because I was so obsessed with the Neveldine Taylor bullshit. And then I just saw they made another movie that's just called Gamer.
Yeah.
And I just had to watch it. And I think I hadn't even finished watching it yet. And this is now 2 years ago, during the movie messaged Josh, we need to make an episode about this movie.
That's
and
right.
I hadn't even finished it yet. I was
It's hard to watch in one sitting, I will say. You do want to take breaks.
The first thing is now that because I rewatched it again for this, I have now seen this movie 3 times, and I don't think I'm going to stop. I think I need to watch this again. The thing I find is interesting, the first time I watched it, I gave it 3 stars, which is not deserved, but it's it's a fun watch.
No, this is a movie that deserves 1 star, to be clear.
But my rating then went down on the second watch, and now I watched it again after not having seen it for 2 years, and suddenly I was like, this is actually kind of fun. It's not. I almost used the word good, but that's not it. But
No,
right.
The experience of watching it is fun because you have your head in your hands and you're screaming, "Who let this happen?" over and over and over.
Yeah, you mentioned Neveldine and Taylor, and I think
Yes.
that's what we should talk about for a second here, because this is not three names. This is not Neville, Dean, and Taylor, which is like what I think I thought it was when I was a teenager. It's Neveldine, one name, and Taylor.
with a slash in between.
With
That's important.
for all their slash fiction.
Yeah,
And-
they're huge on AO3.
These guys are Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, who were commercial directors before this. And then they come together and they're like, we could make a really low budget movie with Jason Statham. He'll do anything.
Real.
And what if we make it a movie where the action just never stops?
And it's insane.
So they released Crank in 2006. And I gotta say, after finally watching this, you know, it's not the most well-loved movies. It's a cult classic, but the critics who like it and the critics who hate it, they always talk about how the action never stops. And I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That movie stops all the goddamn time. Most of the time, you're waiting for people to pick up a phone. There's 3 minutes that you're just watching an elevator go up, which repeats in Gamer too.
It's like 24.
It's like 24. I think all of these movies are best understood as being like the aesthetic descendants of 24 and the way that 24 does things. If you have no action going on, make the camera shake. If you forgot to make the camera shake, make it shake in post.
I think the thing that's important to just say about Crank already is these guys are not good writers, but they write their own movies. The thing is, I will say though, they can shoot the movie like crazy. I think a lot of people have since tried to replicate the way that they direct and shoot action, and I don't think anyone gets even close to what they can do. It's just they should never be let into the writing.
A famous example of someone trying to imitate the Neveldine Taylor style is Taken 2, which has the famous shot, the famous 12-shot sequence of Liam Neeson jumping over a not very tall chain link fence.
Brian, were you at all into the Neveldine Taylor thing at any point? Because like
No.
the way that they shoot, especially with these red cameras, I know. Like, that's something that has been an interest of yours, like that kind of camera work.
Well, because Red became such a big name in small budget video production when I was in college and when I started moving into the profession. I lived with someone who was making industrials and short films on the side, working entirely with Red cameras. The Crank movies were made just before Red cameras were super available because Red started in 2005, Crank came out in 2006. The first features to be made with a Red camera were Steven Soderbergh's Che movies, the duology. So the Crank movies are shot with prosumer, 1080p at the most, and sometimes a far lower resolution cameras. They're using multiple cameras for everything, hence why it's so cheap. It's $12 million. It looks even cheaper than that, other than the fact that they have a helicopter at the end.
It's just like Thief in the Night.
And Crank makes about $40 million off of that budget. So that's like, there we go. We're hitting kind of Roger Corman numbers.
Well, this is also very exciting for a studio. It's like, oh, these guys know how to handle a budget and they can deliver something pretty big and pretty exciting.
Because they worked in commercials. They knew how to deliver something in a short amount of time.
And it has its own style it can stand on. I think that's the thing you cannot fault them for is they understand style. Whether all their style decisions are good is a whole other question.
Right.
Yes.
But it's like they take bold swings and some of them land. And I think I find it kind of sad that we don't get more of this stuff anymore. Maybe we will finally get more of this again. But it's like just letting these guys fuck around. It's so awesome.
There were a lot of low budget action at this time.
I think what I like especially about Crank as well is these films, they're not good, but they're so much fun. You cannot tell me that Crank isn't one of the most fun action movies you can watch from that era.
I think Brian
can tell
say
you that. I found it very boring. Although I had more fun with Crank High Voltage, which is interesting because people like that one less. That one I feel actually does keep things moving more, but thematically, these movies are basically a Klan rally on Little St. James. I don't think you should ever leave any of these men alone in a room with a woman ever.
I think that's generally the thing about all of these movies, including Gamer, is these could only be made in the 2000s because of all the insane shit that's in there that's just left unchecked. It's very fascinating. They're very much male fantasies and they're weird male fantasies. And it's sometimes not even clear who's especially with Crank, they're like three different dudes had this idea, and they mixed all of them together in a blender.
And they even run out of stuff for them to do, so then someone just does something extremely stupid out of nowhere so that they can keep the movie rolling.
Right, and then they will explain it like 10 minutes later. The note I took about Gamer, first of all, shocked this came out in 2009. It feels like a movie from 2004 at best. And the other thing is, like, I feel like tonally, this movie is what would happen if some studio executive held Greg Araki at gunpoint and asked him to make the straightest movie he possibly could. But it is trying to be transgressive, but these guys don't have the ability to actually be transgressive because they're 12-year-old boys.
So how do we get then from Crank to Gamer?
Yeah, so I mean, this does well for Lionsgate, which likes putting out shitty movies like The Transporter and stuff like that and making a little bit of money, right? If you can get people who can consistently make low budget movies that make a modest budget, you're going to be better off than relying on big tent poles. So they give them a budget of $20 million, almost double that for Crank High Voltage, which they initially write and they were going to hand it off to a director, but then they fell in love with the awful dog shit horrible thing that they wrote and decided that they needed to direct that too. And it actually comes out 5 months before Gamer does. They make the movie, it's on its way, it's gonna make a little bit of a profit, it makes less money than the first Crank. But Lionsgate is like, here, what if we hand you a middle budget movie? What if we give you $50 million and you can go shoot in Albuquerque, and we're gonna make this movie with a couple of actual names in it and see if it makes a profit. It does not.
Yeah, no
one goes to see this.
Yeah, no, Gamer is not a success. It actually ends up against its $50 million budget, only grossing $20 million domestically.
Yeah.
Global total take of $40.8 million. So, like, really bad. I did find an interview with Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor where Brian Taylor talks about what he expects audiences to take away from this movie. And I think this clip right here tells you everything you need to know about these guys.
They can expect to just get their asses kicked. We want people to walk out of the theater with their knees and inner thighs trembling like, did that really happen? We want it to just be an experience that people haven't had before.
Yeah, it's not that.
Don't talk about my inner thighs. Don't do that.
I was like unsure what to expect his voice to sound like, and it all makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, right.
It explained every question I might have.
This movie comes out a month or so after District 9, which is made for $30 million and kind of blows people's heads off when it first comes out. In the movie, literally. And it just doesn't compare. Everything that they make, and this was part of the charm of Crank to a lot of people, is it looks like it should be for the straight to DVD market, but somehow it's on a big screen. This movie, as we said before, this was shot on Reds. This was an early Red 1 production. They shot it in Albuquerque. It was an early Albuquerque production. This was before I started working in Albuquerque. This was like right after Terminator Salvation. I think when it was filming, it still would have been around the time that Breaking Bad season 1 was in production. Then Governor Bill Richardson, noted Jeffrey Epstein associate, then brings in a lot more tax breaks, and then we get a lot more movies getting made. So this opens Labor Day weekend, and it hits 3rd place at the box office under The Final Destination, which was an attempted sort of reboot of the franchise, and All About Steve.
What the fuck is All About Steve? I don't remember that.
It was a Sandra Bullock movie that everybody hated.
Yeah, it was sort of the final nail in the Sandra Bullock coffin for a while. Like,
I like that it wasn't the final nail in the coffin for Sandra Bullock, but that Sandra Bullock herself is the coffin, and this completed her.
She's finally her full form.
I think another thing that stands in the way of these guys, just thinking about Crank and such, is that they're afraid of penises. They are very, very scared of penises.
But they love boobs.
They love boobs. They want to be so transgressive. And Statham does have a boner for one section of Crank.
Right, he does. I forgot about the boner.
The boner's not big enough. We don't do enough with it. It just happens to be there. He's running most of the time, so you don't really see it. They are so afraid of dick, and I think that is part of what holds them back as filmmakers. Right after this, I don't know what their schedules were like, because this is crazy, because Jonah Hex comes out the next year. So they had 2 movies in 2009, 1 movie in 2010, and Jonah Hex, kind of a famous bomb.
Josh Brolin would never do a comic book movie again.
Neveldine, he directs Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
Yes, another straight-to-DVD movie that somehow ended up on the big screen.
Yep, that was shot, I think, entirely in Romania, the Albuquerque of Europe. This is kind of a split-up moment for them. So Brian Taylor then ends up eventually by the end of the 2010s teaming up with Grant Morrison and writes the TV show Happy with them on Sci-Fi Channel. People really like that show. I haven't seen it. And then also made a streaming adaptation of Brave New World. That sounds like one of those things that doesn't actually exist, but it's on like Paramount Plus or something from 2020.
Sure.
Well, with that brief primer on Neveldine and Taylor, I feel like it makes sense for us now to get into the action of this incredible action-packed film, because we get a card that says, some years from this exact moment.
What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean?
How could ChatGPT exist this far back in time?
Why do they emphasize?
It is not just in the future. It is in the future from right now.
From right now, as opposed to right now. Yeah.
And remember, my friend, future events such as these will affect you in the future.
We're in Times Square. The worst cover of Sweet Dreams Are Made of These by Eurythmics you have ever heard.
Oh, and don't worry, you will hear this cover a few more times.
You certainly will.
Yeah, do you know whose cover this is?
Who?
Manson. It's fucking Marilyn Manson shitting up.
It genuinely feels like you hear this song, and you're like, I am in 2003.
Yeah.
I have just been broken up with for the first time. I am blaring this. I'm painting my nails black. Like, it really sets a mood.
Well, I just learned a lot about AJ in 2003.
AJ's goth era. I didn't know
it was
about
a mad world.
So there's something called Slayers. We don't quite know what Slayers is yet, but it seems to be all the rage. All of the major landmarks around the world, including the Great Pyramid of Giza, has like faces of guys on it that are to do with Slayers, mostly Gerard Butler.
I love how After Effects this is.
Yes.
So bad.
It is around the world, and it is in English everywhere except on the pyramid where it's in Arabic. It is English everywhere else, including in other Arab nations. I do not know what they were trying to say with this.
We get straight into the action here, and the only way that I can describe what is going on here is that it is Gulf War on Terror coded.
1 and 2.
Yes. Gerard Butler here is infiltrating a warehouse in sort of this manner.
It's not a warehouse.
Brian, what is it? What is it, Brian?
It is the Albuquerque rail yard, the famous Albuquerque rail yard. After Michael Bay shot that one part of Transformers 1 there, everybody has to use the rail yard. Every single Lemonade Mouth uses the rail yard. Breaking Bad uses the rail yard. When the Incredible Hulk falls out of the sky in the Avengers, that's the Albuquerque rail yard.
Sorry, Gerard Butler is infiltrating the Albuquerque rail yard.
Thank you.
In the manner of your standard third-person cover shooter from around this time. There are
chest-high walls.
Yep, there's chest-high walls. There's NPCs. There's like video overlays and a HUD.
And it's all like brown and desaturated like every game was at that point in time.
Awful. The color grading is fucking heinous.
They shot this on a very good camera. I mean, Reds produce really nice images, but they want this to look like the stuff that they shot on prosumer shit for the Crank movies.
Right. I know that in real life, we are in the Albuquerque rail yard.
Yes,
right?
That is what it is. Thank you.
Yes. But in terms of the movie, where are we?
I have no idea. This never makes any sense.
Because we're not in a video game. That's the whole thing. We are in real life.
Yes.
It seems that this is sort of like a containment zone that exists for the avatars who are playing this Bloodsport game. And we'll talk a bit more about those rules in a moment. But like, where the combat arena is actually situated in this world is never made clear.
And it doesn't make sense with like the things that happen later in the movie. None of the locations connect at all, even though they're seemingly right next to each other.
They are literally just in the same city,
But like what happens here is Gerard Butler guns his way through a whole bunch of guys. A lot of blood splatter, a lot of stuff like that. And he hits the save point, which is how he has completed his objective. That's also where we get the title card. And it seems that what the movie is trying to do here is be like, hey, man, this violence in media, this violence in video games, it's freaking out of control, man.
Yeah. The way that this first game works, or I guess the way games work in general, the only time you really get a feel for it is at the very beginning here, is less like how actual video games are and more like how the games in the Canadian CGI TV series Reboot work.
Yes.
It's like, we must race the user to the end. And it's like, I've never played a game like this.
Yeah, he doesn't even get in the save point at the end. He's like just like 20 feet away from it. Get in the save point, Gerard.
It seems like they're trying to say video game violence is crazy and bad. Yeah. Which is really funny if you look at the movies Neveldine Taylor made.
Yes,
right. To try and make commentary on how violence in media is like, I don't think they're trying to say bad. I think they're trying to say it makes people violent and numb to violence, which is funny when they make entire movies about how violence is awesome and cool, and that's like the only message the Crank movies really contain is that violence is fucking epic. And boobs also.
Maybe it's just bad when it happens to white people. Oh, that would be consistent.
I mean, honestly, there's something about the way that this is shot and directed that's very odd to me. There's a lot of extremely quick cuts. There's a lot of close-ups, extreme close-ups from down low a lot of the time.
That's a Crank thing, too.
And the thing that they don't do is any sort of a wide shot to give you a sense of where you are or when you are. It wants to overwhelm you with these quick cuts and constant shots, which I just found really fucking disorienting.
Yeah, the way they direct action is interesting because if you just watched Gamer, you'd think, oh, maybe they're directing it like this because this is what video games feel like. But then you watch Crank and they direct it also like this. So it's not like they're like choosing to direct it in this way where you don't really have much context, which I think in this movie, it's like weird to watch like that, but also it kind of it at least it makes somewhat sense that as like a player in a game, you have like a limited visibility. You only see this much of what happens around you. I think it's kind of okay, but also it's clearly just how they direct action.
They could direct it more like a game where it's like over the shoulder and we're following someone, or like, you know, Doom came out a couple years earlier that went, you know, FPS for an extended sequence.
I think the reason they only do the over shoulder shot briefly is that they couldn't tell Gerard Butler to stay in the same point in front of the camera, because the one bit where they do this, he keeps veering left and right from the camera and the camera isn't fixed on him at all.
Funny.
It's very gross to look at and very disorienting because everything is that sort of brown color.
Yes.
The note I took here was fucking teabagged him because there's a guy who literally teabagged somebody.
There's also a little store where people exchange Monopoly money, and there's like a storekeeper NPC who doesn't react to anything.
And this never comes up again. Well.
I wish it did. It's kind of a fun idea.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I think this is on purpose shot to be kind of nauseating because they think it's edgy and cool. And
definitely.
What also plays into this is that I'm pretty sure the amount of flashing lights in this movie is on purpose because they're edgy. Because this is straight up, I don't think watchable if you are like photosensitive. Like,
no, definitely not.
Yeah, no, we should put the warning up about
Well, they wanted your thighs trembling, and what better way to do it than induce a seizure?
Yeah, but it like genuinely like the after this game scene when they're in like the fucking truck or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it's just flashing black
flashing
and
lights.
white at you for like no
awful.
reason. And it makes it unwatchable, and I genuinely think they're making this unwatchable to some degree on purpose because they think it's cool.
So outside of the world of the game, we of course have the real world. And from here, after the title card and that brief time on the truck where everyone's like, I hate being in the game, we go on to this media company and we hear some truly glistening dialogue.
Do we have the interview or don't?
Yes, we are hair close.
Look, I'm not going to blow the 3-agent war for close.
With all due respect, Bob, nobody cares about dead Orientals. They care about Ken Castle.
Can I hear from Gina, please?
Okay, Bob. Are you aware the Castle has clocked exactly one media appearance date, and that was Walter's last interview before she died 9 fucking years ago?
Stop menstruating and just tell me whether we fucking have it.
We fucking have it.
Good.
They're so edgy.
That's Kira Sedgwick, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, focus. Let's get lunch.
She's not
Iranian
closing.
sushi or Mexican?
Burger chili fry.
I could freak a burger.
That's it.
She could freak a burger. By the way, that other voice, you might have thought that sounds a whole lot like Q from Star Trek The Next Generation. That is indeed John Delancey, and I hope you enjoyed that, because after this scene, he will not be back.
He was in Crank High Voltage. I think this was like an Uwe Boll situation where they were making two movies at the same time, so they could just use like Uwe Boll. It's always like Clint Howard showing up, and so for the Neveldine and Taylor, I guess it's John Delancey.
Well, and the producer there too was the ghost that haunted House on House for like 8 episodes. So that's fun. He's only credited as producer in this movie, despite having a lot of lines. He does not get a name.
Let's talk a bit about this dialogue, shall we?
Yes, please. Because in addition to cunt hair close, we also get one a couple scenes later where someone describes something as cock solid.
After that guy walks away, the Star Trek guy, what is his name? Rob Delaney? I can take this.
Rob Delaney. Yes, Rob Delaney.
I don't watch Star Trek. So when John Delancey walks away, his character's name is Bob. And Kira Sedgwick says, once he's out of earshot, palindromes. And I almost threw my TV out the window.
They really thought they were cooking. They were like, oh my God. Listen to this sparkle. Kira Sedgwick is doing the worst work of her life here.
Genuinely. But she tries to put makeup on. She's basically like bedazzled her eyebrows, at least to like try and get something out of this performance.
Because it's the future.
They seem to think that they are doing David Mamet here. Like that's what they're trying to do, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So much of the dialogue sounds just like this, where it's like, it's not just bad dialogue. It's like, how in the world could a human being write this?
Well, it's a nerd's idea of cool people, I guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
Or teenagers, certainly. Like when you read a lot of like teenagers' first plays or whatever, they're always like, it's just obscenity for like 5 or 6 pages.
I feel like this was also just like a lot of like gamer and online culture of the 2000s. Like if you were really edgy, you'd read like EGM and you'd read Sean Baby articles in Penny Arcade and stuff, and you'd try to
fucking
absorb
Sean
that.
Baby coded. Yeah.
And that's unfair to Sean Baby. I do want to say, like, I think he's a better writer than that.
I think the fascinating thing about that, though, is that even the uncool non-gamer people in this movie talk like that. Like, it doesn't...
It's less Sean Baby and it's more Tommy Tallarico. And I say this as a guy who watched a lot of G4 in high school.
and I guess to a certain extent, right, the fact that everybody talks like this shows that gamer culture has become mass culture.
But the box office numbers prove that that is not the case.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No. I mean, in the world of the movie itself.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that gamer culture has infiltrated the way everybody thinks and speaks outside of it. So in that sense, I buy it, but it doesn't make it any more pleasant to listen to.
No.
One of the performances, as we were mentioning, that is particularly tough to listen to is Kira Sedgwick. She plays Gina, who is the key talent for this media company. And what they've been talking about here is that she's managed to get an interview with like the big guy, Ken Castle, the billionaire CEO of this company that has changed the whole world. And at this point, we get to the interview and we get a little bit of exposition about Ken Castle, Michael C. Hall, and the company that he has built.
First, there was Society, the ultimate sim environment, where players don't control virtual animated characters, but actual living, breathing human beings. They walked them, they talked them, they juiced them, they rocked them.
Rickety-dickety-doo. We had that on t-shirts back in 2010.
The creation of reclusive genius Ken Castle.
Who is Ken Castle?
Society took the world by storm, becoming the #1 guilty pleasure of billions.
You can get paid to be controlled, or you can pay to control.
And generating one of the world's largest private fortunes, surpassing Bill Gates practically overnight.
So that was Michael C. Hall there at the end doing his Foghorn Leghorn impersonation.
This is such a weird performance.
Billions of people control the like 100 people outside Albuquerque.
Yeah.
We do live in a society.
He literally says we live in a society.
We live in society, we visit society, which is like, whoa.
It's one step above, man.
And Society, the game, the Second Life, but with real people, is played in a real location with these humans who I guess clock in and clock out at Civic Plaza in downtown Albuquerque.
And when they clock in at Civic Plaza, they are remotely puppeted by people on the outside. And they are paying money to have the opportunity to puppet other people's bodies. And conversely, the puppets are getting paid for their performance.
So this is the same tech that goes into the arena stuff. And it's supposed to be like they throw in a nanobot and then it replicates all up in your brain. And then it's like bound to locations. You can't be taken over, apparently, if you're not in the specific places where the arena is or where the Second Life is.
Such as Civic Plaza.
Such as Albuquerque's Civic Plaza.
Albuquerque's Civic Plaza is geofenced.
Yeah.
And similarly geofenced is, of course, the area where Slayer is taking place, the blood sport game. Here we learn that there's a teenager named Simon Silverton who is referred to as a gaming superstar.
Percy Jackson himself.
And Simon controls Cable with a K. That, of course, is Gerard Butler.
Cable with a K. What's Cable's real name?
His last name is Tillman. I forgot the other part of his.
Oh, yeah, it's Tillman.
They just call him Tillman. I think even his daughter calls it this.
Yeah.
At the end, even his daughter calls him Tillman, even though that's his last name.
Do you think this is an intentional Pat Tillman reference?
I think so. I don't think it's a smart one. I don't know. I don't think they know what they're doing with that, but I think it's a Pat Tillman reference. Plus, we also have a character named Ben Richard. And what is the name of the protagonist of The Running Man?
Oh,
Ben Richards. So they're like, we're just doing the plot from The Running Man, and to show that we're good sports about it, we're also going to steal the name of the protagonist.
So I'm going to let Michael C. Hall explain to us right now how Slayer works.
He's in the studio with us.
Slayers. Why isn't it murder?
Gina, when's the last time you saw somebody volunteer to be murdered? I'm sure you know that every last one of our Slayers is a bona fide death row inmate. Each one offered the chance to participate as an alternative to their sentence. You stay alive for 30 sessions, you get set free. That's not a bad goddamn deal.
And has any of these men or women actually survived long enough to be set free?
Well, I'd remind your audience that Slayers was put together with the full cooperation and approval of the United States federal government. That the revenue it produces is responsible for funding our entire prison system, keeping the bad guys behind bars, and that the prop was voted for by a cock-solid 68% of the American public.
In an election tainted by suspected digital fraud. Let's talk about the so-called genericons sent into the Slayers' environment with a set of pre-programmed actions with no one controlling them and no way to react. Their chances of survival are next to nil.
There's plenty of men and women in prison who could never cut it as Slayers. Shouldn't they be given the same chance? Roll the dice for a ticket out? Besides, they only need to survive one session.
Yeah, and they don't. Genericons are NPCs, basically. Yeah, they're like bystanders.
One thing I do want to say here that is never really mentioned, but that we see in like a Chiron here, Chiron? Is it Chiron or Chiron?
Chiron, yeah.
Is that these avatars that people are controlling, they're called I-cons. They're icons.
Right.
Because they're convicts.
Internet convicts.
You control an icon.
That's actually great. I love that.
No.
And so the others are generic cons that's NPCs.
Yeah, that one's not as good. Icons is good.
We're going to talk a bit more about Michael C. Hall specifically later on, but I just wanted to play one more clip from this interview that is, to me, I was like, oh, this is this movie in a nutshell.
What about you, Sugar? Wonder if I might breach your firewall one of these days?
You're bad.
He's good.
This is happening while a hacker group called Humans with a Z, like those Nintendo DS games, they have hacked into the studio, and Ludacris's face briefly shows up and tells them to go fuck themselves.
I want to say one thing about Ludacris in this film is that in the credits, he is called Human's brother. They named the main black character in this brother. He is always referred to as brother, and that it is his character.
Oh, yeah. And not the only black character. They have another black character who, I'm just reading this, is a rage monster. Oh, no. Oh God.
So Ludacris's character is look, if you've played Marathon, he's the leader of MIDA, right?
Yes,
like he's
he is
type
MIDA.
of guy.
Also, I hate to say this because I like Mr. Robot, but Humans is literally just F Society, and I'm honestly pretty sure that parts of F Society were low-key inspired by humans in this movie.
100%.
There's some very direct parallels, like the hideout and stuff, that are pretty much like one-to-one in Mr. Robot. And I don't like to say that Mr. Robot, a show I like a lot, was probably inspired by Gamer 2009.
Yeah, Gamer was a giant rock that was dropped into the center of a still lake, and its ripple effects we are still feeling to this very day.
AJ, this rock, was it hollow or was it soft or was it perhaps cock solid?
It was a cock solid rock. Michael C. Hall's character is supposed to be a tech genius.
Yeah.
And everyone is running around like, how did Ludacris hack our systems? And Michael C. Hall says, well, you might want to check your firewall. And everybody's like, he's a genius.
I know, he doesn't even say check the firewall. I might send some of my guys to check your firewall.
Right.
And they're like, whoa, we didn't even think of that.
Wow, he has firewall, guys.
So at this point, Ludacris has actually managed to hack into the whole studio where this interview is going down. The interview is concluded.
He hacks them after the interview. I think that's important. Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't even truly disrupt anything.
But this is giving us a sense of sort of his ability to get into these systems. And honestly, I think Ludacris is pretty all right in this movie. I mean, he's not given a lot to work with. But I found him enjoyable as a screen presence.
Yeah, especially for this era where Ludacris was somehow in every movie. Yes. This is not one of his worst performances. Like,
no, this is not Crash.
He's also like weirdly believable as like a hacker leader or whatever.
He convincingly calls the gamer boy a honky. In 2009, there's a point in Crank High Voltage, because Crank 1 was, I think, originally like they wanted Johnny Knoxville or something, and then they got Statham. So Crank 2, they were like, well, we have Statham. We should write British, we should write the character British. So they make him do like rhyming slang throughout.
That's so funny.
Fuck yeah.
It's time to get into the backstory of our lead, of Gerard Butler, of Cable himself.
Has a backstory? That's news. That's a new thing for Neveldine Taylor.
Well, he has a tragic flashback where we see that he has had a daughter at some point.
Yes,
that's his backstory.
They did the flashbacks from Gladiator. Great.
That's right.
And Gerard Butler is acting like he is in Gladiator.
Yeah. Yes,
this whole movie, it's so strange. I feel like every actor that is successful in this film all know what movie they're in, and Gerard Butler does not appear to know what movie he's in.
Yeah. John Leguizamo knows exactly what movie he's in.
He's like maybe one of the best roles in this, which is why they kill him. But we get to that later.
Leguizamo is playing a role that's clearly inspired by Rob Schneider and Judge Dredd.
Yeah, he's the guy at the prison camp who exists to talk to Gerard Butler and get his backstory from him.
Yeah, they're at this quarry. I'm not exactly sure. This is one of the limestone quarries around Albuquerque, but I don't know the quarries very well.
This is one of those points where I'm like, they do know how to color grade, because those scenes in the quarry look kind of insane.
Yeah,
they're basically black and white.
Super contrasty.
The sky to be extra contrasty. It goes hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to be in this movie like this, because it looks like they're on some other planet, which is not where they are. But like, it goes hard as hell.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Like, what if they were on the moon this whole time? Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, and you could
That'd be something.
What if the moon looked just like Albuquerque? What if God were one of us?
It's one of those things where it's like, if the camera would just stay still, these shots would be beautiful.
Yeah.
But because it's jerking around all over the place, I'm leaning for my trash bucket.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't jerking the cameras around, they would need to learn how to direct people doing non-action. Not that they know how to direct action.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So what we learn here is that Gerard Butler is on the inside because he killed a man.
We kind of see this flashback of him. I think it's played in reverse the first time, where he like shoots a guy sitting at a table, and we're already getting a sense of maybe he didn't really do this, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, his flashback is from the perspective of a surveillance camera.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, and it kind of blinks in and out.
And it's like one of those like government conspiracy surveillance cameras where like you see this in a movie and you're like, oh, there's a conspiracy going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why would they film this?
And so the other thing that Gerard Butler has going on is that along with his estranged daughter, he has a wife.
Yeah.
His wife is on the outside and she's also on the outs. Something has gone wrong with his wife. This is Amber Valletta playing that role. And after we get all of this exposition and backstory, a whispery lady shows up to his cell. We don't see her. We don't know who she is, but we do know that he has a picture of his wife and daughter and she has a way out for him, question mark.
Or something.
Yeah, she's like,
or something?
sign this for my son. He's praying for you. And then she steals his blood.
Yeah, and he's like not that concerned about it.
No.
He just wants to know her
weirdly
name.
nonplussed.
He's like, who are you? And then she's like, I have to go. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess that happened.
I had thought that maybe it was a flashback to how he got into the thing in the first place.
It's such
like
a
non-linear
weird moment.
Yeah.
It's trying to do three things, right? It's like
Yes.
trying to play the sort of pop culture aspect of it, and the fact that he has no awareness of what happens either in the arena or in the outside world. And then it's also doing the plot thing for the hackers that will be important later.
But at this point, we are now smashed right back into Albuquerque Civic Plaza. We are in the metaverse.
They do one of the most heinous bits of production design I think I've ever seen in a movie, where they wrap every tree in like cellophane. And they stood back and they looked at it and they're like, yeah, that works.
I think the thing about that whole society sequence is that, to me, I'm like, they know how to convey a mood. Like,
yeah.
But that's it. But it's like none of these moods make sense to me. As soon as we arrived there, I was like, oh, we're watching a music video.
When they have color, it's fun.
Down to the fact that they are playing The Bad Touch by Bloodhound Gang.
Right.
It's on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
That's right.
And there's some fun thing, like people do kind of move in the way that characters in video games actually move. They're not doing like the robot or something. I think the actors do some really fun work in these scenes. And they're having people engage in not just sucking and fucking, although that's a big part of it, but just in any kind of like odd, transgressive act that they can do.
A very straight guy in 2009 could imagine someone having a fucked up kink.
Yeah,
which is basically like three things. So that's about where it starts and ends.
Let's get into those things, shall we? Because
she's holding a bird,
but the bird is a hologram.
The first thing is rollerblades, which are sick and twisted.
They watched Hackers and were like, "What can we take from this?"
That's right.
They put a bunch of people in like proto Dolls Kill or like Andrew Christian.
We have then this scene. One of the avatars, who we will come to discover later on, is Gerard Butler's wife. She is walking around, sort of like dead-eyed, and then there are cuts between her and this big fat sweaty guy who's shirtless, who is, I guess, controlling her and fulfilling his own sick, twisted, transgressive fantasies.
Yeah, and so she and this one other dude are like fucking in the plaza. That other dude is also being operated by a
pervert,
fat, nude man in like the Saw room.
It was also at this point that I wrote down that it must have been crazy, and still is crazy, to be like a not very attractive fat guy who wants to work in movies. This is so gross, and
it's
I
gross.
get that like there's sometimes roles like this. Not this role. I don't think this needed to be in here.
No.
Oh, you didn't think that this was an interesting or well-considered role, Maya?
But it's just like you kind of, if you want to work in films, especially in this era as a fat guy, this is the role you have to take.
Yeah.
And I think it's so gross.
So let's just take a moment to sort of listen to what this sounds like. Again, we are cutting between this lithe, hot lady and this fat, shirtless guy who is sitting in his chair and is implied to be jorking it as well.
Yeah, and he has like 5 monitors, which all show the same thing.
Hi.
So what's your damage?
Is this Heather's?
You know, just hanging out, just looking to meet people.
Meet people?
Lucky you.
He like dips a sandwich in lube.
Yeah.
He eats the lube sandwich.
I'm Mika.
I'm Del. I like your fur.
I like your fur.
Do you want to go somewhere?
You want to go somewhere?
We are somewhere.
We are somewhere.
And then they fuck in the Civic Center of Albuquerque.
That's right.
Civic Plaza. Civic Plaza. Let's
Civic
get it right.
Plaza of Albuquerque. I'm sorry.
This fat guy has 5 monitors. They all show exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't bother shooting like any first-person stuff to put on the monitors, so you just see like random ass side profile shots, which is basically the same shots we see in the movie, which makes no sense. Every time they cut to what's on his monitors, it's from a completely different perspective. And also, it's like sort of a VR immersive experience, but also not.
Everybody else we see has these like VR setups, but with him, it's just screens. Well, it's kind of implied that he might, even though it seems like you'd need a lot of money to do this, it's kind of implied that he's like on some sort of government assistance. And of course, we also see that he uses a mobility scooter later because that was the 2000s joke, was like fat people, mobility scooters, everybody on the internet is a fat man. Look at like the South Park World of Warcraft episode.
I also want to throw in here that there's something very interesting going on here gender-wise. Where
HEP Blanchard. Maya wants to talk about Blanchard. I'm so sorry.
Is Blanchard the name of the fat guy?
No. Blanchard is the Canadian guy who came up with AGP and HST.
The AGP guy.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
AGP, for anyone who for some reason watches this podcast and doesn't know what that, listens to this podcast and doesn't know what that is.
HEP, it's me. I don't know what this is.
Auto-chinophilia.
Yeah.
And it is this cool philosopher's theory for trans people is there's two types of trans women. There's homosexual transsexuals.
HSTS, yeah.
HSTS. And then there's HEP, which is autochinophilia. HSTS stands for, is like a gay guy who transitions to be a straight woman, right? That's obvious, that's easy, that's the more moral one.
Correct of person, yes.
And HEP is a guy who's turned on by being seen as a woman. That's his whole theory, and this is what like a lot of like TERF stuff is based on. This is what all the like weird anti-trans philosophy is built on. Yeah. It's gross. It's weird. Yeah. I think the one thing I need to say to like kind of disprove this is that if you do any actual surveys about what he considers HEP in cis women, is that 90% of cis women would qualify for being HEP because it's the concept of being like turned on by your own body is not like something only trans people experience.
Right. It turns out people have sexual fantasies that involve their own body because that's what they have sex with.
Anyways, what? The thing is, this understanding of like HEP as being the driving force behind transness, while not the term people knew, this was like kind of the prevalent idea of what trans people are, especially in the 2000s, but also before that. So this almost definitely plays into this idea, this fat guy wants to be a hot woman. Ooh, he gets off on this idea. Which is interesting because the whole game of society is basically built around this idea. This doesn't make any sense other than as a like fetish game, but it's treated as this like mass media. It's like,
I mean, if we had to tease out what it is that Neveldine and Taylor are trying to say here, because I actually do think they're trying to say something.
Oh, yeah. We live in a society.
The spectacular world that has been built here, this society with a capital S, is one that indulges all of our worst and most base impulses.
Yeah.
And that the way that this sexuality is portrayed is not just deviant, but like
fucked up.
Fucked up, exactly.
Which makes the whole thing funnier to me, where they like just go on late night talk shows and they talk about this game like it's The Sims.
Yeah.
And it's like if The Sims was a BDSM game, but still everyone talked about how you play this as a teen. Like this is
with the right mods it can be.
Yeah, sure. But like it's like the most popular games in the world are real people killing each other and the sex game. And I think that's really funny, especially because these games in this world are so unbelievably popular. We see this later where there's like millions of people watching this game happen. And the note I wrote down, I think it's somewhere else in these notes, is that this is basically how big GTA 6 needs to be so the Rockstar doesn't go bankrupt.
Yes, that is 100% true. I love the archival footage that they use to show people celebrating around the world that's just from Live Aid, I'm pretty sure.
A lot of this is just like the most basic kind of satirical comment that you could have made about the internet. Everybody on the internet is a fat guy. That was like what everyone said without looking deeper. You know, they talk about like mass incarceration getting so big that it bankrupts the United States, which necessitates this whole arena coliseum thing, which is like almost a point. And there's almost a point about the idea of renting out human bodies to live out aspects of your life in there. But that goes, that would, I think, to make that point, you'd have to go beyond escapism. They're doing world building that is just kind of picking up cues from other pieces of fiction, but they don't have the perspective required to really develop that idea any further than just what this basic plot demands.
Yeah, I think the thing that's funny is that you can tell that a lot of the media they pick from is definitely also actually games, which makes it funnier that they seemingly storytelling-wise don't actually understand what a video game is. But they still understands more what a video game is than even some contemporary like video game movies. Like I was thinking about this like yesterday. This understands more what a game is than Free Guy.
Oh yeah.
The thing about Free Guy though is that it whitewashes a lot of gamer culture.
It's all just fun and bright.
Yeah, it's all fun and bright colors. And like, I mean, the executives are coming in and they're like giving us notes or whatever. But it's like, it's not like, it doesn't get into the grime of it the way that Gamer does. I think that Gamer also fundamentally misunderstands what a video game is. I don't think anyone who's played it has ever played a video game. But it does feel more truthful to the toxic areas of gaming.
It's also interesting just where we place this in terms of the history of social media too, because obviously society is mostly based on Second Life, but you have to think about like with Facebook, for instance, 2009, that's the year they introduced the like button. And as we talked about in that episode about Facebook and the death of Facebook that we did, like the way that we all communicate with each other was on the precipice of incredible change. And the weird thing to me about this movie is that in some ways it feels like it is anticipating those changes, even though Neveldine and Taylor, being fucking morons, don't really know how to articulate the anxieties that they are feeling, but it's there.
Well, and also just like focusing on Second Life too was just like, for some reason around like 2008 to 2010, every TV show discovered Second Life and had like a Second Life plot on their show. People who work in Hollywood were very behind the times. They're like, yeah, what would it be like to live a second life? Your second life, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Neveldine Taylor is they have a lot of like ideas that might be interesting, but they don't they never stay with any idea to explore it. They're just like, that's cool, let's do the next thing. Let's smoke another joint and think of more ideas.
That's exactly what happens at this point in the movie too, is we immediately bounce back into Slayer, the gamer game. The beggar, there's a beggar NPC who's shaking a cup for change, and even after he gets blood spattered in his face, he just keeps shaking it, which really makes you think.
Also, these NPCs are also people, but also they don't have anything to do with the level. Like, what is their purpose?
I don't
They're
know.
there for flips. They're there to get shot up and splatter around. And we learned this later from Simon, the gamer boy gamer.
He talks about Jibs and pronounces it as Gibbs instead.
Yeah, it's a couple little throwaway lines that you kind of miss because the sound is not very good in this movie. But it's just like, they're the people who are not equipped to engage in combat. So they're told if you can survive one round as a random NPC, and they never do because the game is rigged, of course, then you can have your freedom.
But who is controlling them as the NPCs?
No one's controlling them.
No one's controlling them.
They are given a script and they just follow that. That's why you also see the lady who just keeps crossing the street or whatever.
Or like later on when John Leguizamo is just like, before he dies, spoiler alert, John Leguizamo dies.
Like sweeping?
He's like, he just keeps sweeping and then he dies.
Dirt pile?
He's sweeping in the dirt pile.
That's at the BMX track, so it's just all dirt.
Like, I think they're doing some sort of commentary there, but or trying to, but I don't know what it is.
It just makes me long for the Truman Show, because at least that that like buys you into its world, right? Like, you understand why millions of people are watching the show, and it's because it's run like a fucking Swiss watch. You watch this and you're like, what are the rules of this game? Who are any of these people? Like, is there an announcer that's like doing live commentary on this? Do we just have Sean from
Well, there was Keith David for like 5 seconds at the very beginning of the movie.
No, he just said the one line Slayer, and then he appears later as a separate character in this movie.
We need to meet Simon at this point. Simon, who is the teenager. He's a little Nepo baby, and he's the teenager who controls Cable. And he spends most of his time in a goon cave.
He has the Norman Jaden computer.
Him and like the fucking tech CEO. They both have a computer room that's like a virtual production screen.
Right.
They live in blue screen world.
Yes. So he kicks back in his goon cave, Simon does, and he fires up the old computey, and this is what it sounds like.
The latest innovation from Browning. This self-detonating cartridge offers the widest and deadliest spray available from a full-tracking, cornering ordnance.
That you like? Fangirl, stop hacking me.
You suck, Simon. You're gonna get my boyfriend killed before he can get out of jail and before he can fill me up with his hot seat.
Simon.
His
I
hot
just
seat.
want to play you. Forget about that star.
That one is To Catch a Predator.
When am I gonna get to meet you for like reels?
So I guess she's underage? I don't know.
What's up, loser? Mom says go to college, move the fuck out, and you smell like Jeffrey Dahmer.
I think this girl is meant to be trans. I'm pretty sure this is like a sissy puss.
Maybe.
Oh my god, it's really you.
These are the cum dums
You wanna see our tits, Simon?
They're twins who showed their tits for some reason.
Now that we have your attention, here's an offer that you can't refuse.
Here we go.
50 million euros for control of cable. Instant transfer to the account of your choice.
Cable's not for sale. Thank you.
Baby, make it 100.
It's been real.
I like this is the dystopian future where British people use the euro.
This is the dystopian future where British people use euros and can hack your computer.
This is awful. This scene is fucking horrible.
It's not even clear what this are. These fans? One of them seems like it's someone that maybe he knows, but also she's calling herself To Catch a Predator. So is he a pedophile? What's happening?
It's weird, especially because he implies one of them is hacking him, but they like all appear, and also it's like they're video calling him, they're like Skyping him somehow.
And it's like he's used to it, and they're trying to like buy his key, I guess, to play as Cable with a K.
They're all either trying to buy Cable or have sex with him or both or call him the Arsler. It's very unclear what the point of the scene is other to show that he's popular with the girl.
Well, that's basically it. But the issue here is that this guy fucking sucks. And if this were
He's also 17 years old.
Well, but if this were a more confident movie, then they would make him, I think, just suck. And then you could do something with that. But the movie wants you to like him for some reason.
The movie wants you to both think, oh, he's a bit of a jerk, but also he's so cool and I literally want to be him.
Yeah, they're like, he's supposed to be the world's top esport athlete, basically. And he is also someone who has a conscience, but hasn't accessed it yet. He doesn't realize just the human cost of what is going on.
Yeah, and he also is basically the same as the fat guy that we saw earlier, but he is good because he is skinny.
Yes.
And
the fat guy is evil because he's fat.
Yes, he is good because he's rich and skinny and has good computer, and the fat guy is bad because he is fat and poor and has bad computer.
That's right. He is bad. He has very bad computer.
There's something so like, because whenever the fat man masturbates in the movie, he just like, we just see him rubbing his belly. Like, they don't understand that I think fat people have genitals and still like masturbate the normal way.
Of penises.
They are scared of penises. You have to see the
they
belly.
will not show Terry Cruz's, I'll tell you.
No, they won't.
We can get a tantalizing silhouette.
Hey, speaking of Terry Crews, we might as well talk about him.
San Diego's finest. Let's go.
We are Michigan's finest.
Yeah, no, but he played for the Chargers, so we do take a little bit.
But he's from what, Flint, I want to say?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And where are the Chargers now, AJ?
Shut the fuck up, Brian.
Remember how at the beginning we heard about how there are some agents who can go into the game and just play? Well, now there's a new guy. New guy just dropped. It's Terry Crews. He is not controlled by anybody. And this is a big deal because at this point, Simon has gotten information potentially pointing to like what Gerard Butler's whole thing is. He might have the opportunity to maybe even free Gerard Butler. And so that in tandem with Terry Crews here is really raising the stakes.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Gerard Butler? Will he make it out?
The humans hack in and they show him some of the footage maybe of Gerard Butler shooting the guy.
Flashback Gerard Butler had.
Yeah.
We see the same footage again.
And he's like, that's from the
clip.
government conspiracy angle.
and he's like, whoa, you can download this EXE so you can talk.
That's right. At this point then, Terry Crews confronts Gerard Butler in the prison ? And it sounds like this.
I'm gonna kill you too on Sunday.
Yeah, probably.
That's why they put me here. I've got no strings. I've got no strings, so I have fun. I'm not tied up to anyone. They've got strings, but you can see there are no strings on me. You got two whores, Cable.
What'd you say?
On the outside, I'm sorry. I meant your pretty girls. So you want to get back to them. But I'm going to visit them first.
So, yeah, the big
That's
thing...
when he falls down a well mid-scene.
Yeah, just to reiterate here, the big thing is that Terry Crews is not going to be controlled by anyone. Because when
there's lag.
Because when you're playing, you have lag.
We just right now learned that in this futuristic world where you can control other people's brains, there is still lag.
There is no foreshadowing. There is only shadowing in this movie.
So if you're just the guy in the arena with his own gun and his own free will, then you don't have to worry about the lag. This also doesn't matter. This never really comes into play.
Well, but it sort of seems to matter.
Does,
yeah,
because it also then means that Gerard Butler, in order to be able to perform at his peak potential, also needs to be unshackled from the gamer control system.
The entire plan of like the evil guys, the antagonists, is now, oh, we need to kill this guy before he comes free because he is part of our conspiracy. And her whole solution to this conspiracy was to lock him up on death row, but then let him play in our game.
Listening to all of this, you might think, that sounds like nonsense. You'd be right. None of this makes any fucking sense. What matters...
It's just a rigged game. No one ever wins. And that's what they need to maintain by throwing Terry Crews in there.
Exactly. And so there is yet another round of the game. Terry Crews enters the map. He defeats Gerard Butler and pulls the trigger. But there's no live ammo in the chamber. A fake bullet just drops out for some reason?
It's because, well, so first of all, this is at Duke City BMX.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Albuquerque's finest destination for dirt bikes.
I asked the question, where are we? And you have answered it at every single turn.
And they start going out of bounds, but the other thing, this is what confuses it, because you're hearing the out of bounds notice, but they're also running out of time. And so Terry Crews gets the jump on Gerard Butler and fires or pulls the trigger right as time has run out. So the gun doesn't work anymore. And the bullet just falls out of it.
Hacked it.
Because this is a bad movie that does things poorly.
Yes.
Yeah, I would also like to take a moment just to talk about Terry Crews' performance in this.
Yes.
Because okay, I disagree. I think that Terry Crews is doing his best with what might be one of the worst written roles of all time.
Yeah, also it's probably, it seems like a fairly racist role as well.
Yes.
Like he's just insane monster black guy.
Yeah, but he infuses it, I think. His eyes always look a little bit sad and in pain in a way that, like, I don't know, there's like some humanity happening inside of him.
That's the problem, is that there's nothing of that in the character. He's supposed to be scary, and Terry Crews actually, even though he's huge and muscular, doesn't have that in him. He is not a scary man.
His character has no motivation for anything in this. There's no motivation for why he does what he does.
Right.
Especially because he is introduced as a guy who was just like killing people for fun.
Yeah.
And then he turned himself in for some reason. This is explained to us by Freak. It's like, oh, this guy is so scary that he turned himself in. That makes him scarier somehow.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, though, Brian, that like, you're right. From a casting perspective, he's simply wrong for the role because Terry Crews, I have hugged this man in person on a game show.
He picked you up.
And he just has a very kind presence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because he's so fucking big, obviously he can act intimidating, but it's not right.
But like you said, AJ, he's just got
like
that. He's tender. He's got that softness in his eyes.
Yeah, which at least adds a second note to a performance in a movie where everyone is basically playing one note. Right? There's complexity
to me, I feel like
here
it just,
where it's not in most.
It just sort of erases the note. Like it just feels like it's like he's just not convincingly hitting the beat.
I guess he does as much as you can with a character that has this little motivation even in the story. Like his character fundamentally makes no sense. He's just a killing machine, but because he's not externally controlled, he doesn't really have any motivation to do any of this.
Yeah.
Especially because he turned himself in. And also, he couldn't go free, I don't think.
But he has those strings on him, Maya.
I also think this is the part of the episode where it slowly gets harder to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we also barely understand what's going on. So,
and for that reason, I think it makes a lot of sense for us to take our break here. Gerard Butler desires to be turned loose. He dares to, dare I say it, have his cable severed. But what will that look like? Well, we'll just have to wait till we find out right after this.
I say, salutations, world, some years from this exact moment. Did we mean to say future there? No? All right. Ken Castle here, the man who is going to breach your firewall and infect you with a permanent virus. It's chlamydia. Future chlamydia. Sorry, some years from this exact moment, chlamydia. Here to tell you that we at Ken Castle, interactive games, entertainment. Fuck, did we not really give ourselves a name? Oh, fuck it. We at Ken Castle Company have always pushed the boundaries of good taste. You've shot soldiers in Slayer, you've slurped scorpions in Society, but get ready to slide that slippery sausage into the warm, wet welcome that is Ken Castle's Crazy Kart, the only kart racer that will make you come. You can play as all your favorite Ken Castle characters: Belinda Blowjob, Johnny Sex Crime, and Travis, my best buddy from the bayou who was tragically eaten by gators. Travis! No! Travis! Use a wide variety of liminal methods to take your competition down. Lay down a lube slick to send your competition sliding. Or use the dreaded blue spike dildo to take down the leader of the pack in one cock-hard explosion. Travis loved the blue spike dildo. When we were kids, we used to go down to the bayou and throw them dildos at all them gators, and how we laugh and laugh and laugh. It was Travis who taught me about the importance of society and how we live in one, how the world is dog eat dog, and those you conquer along the way give you the power you need to survive it. But then one day, he threw too big a dildo at too big a gator, and oh, that scaly servant of Satan done snapped Travis clean in two, leaving nothing standing next to me but a pair of legs and a pecker. And oh, anyone else would have frozen up. But Travis had taught me well. He was stronger than me, and the world was dog eat dog, so this dog got to eaten. Travis, you delicious fool! Give me your power! Give me your power! Give me your power! So strap on and strap in for the second greatest ride outside this little fella right here. It's my penis. Ken Castle's Crazy Kart, the kart of the some years from this exact moment.
So, we are back in the Goon Cave with Simon.
The blue screen dimension. It looks even more green screen the second that the compositing gets worse as this movie goes on.
They blew most of their money on bird holograms, right, at this point.
And he's just kind of, trying to figure out what's up. And wouldn't you know it, Ludacris, the hacker king, brother hacker, whatever the fuck his character name is.
Human's brother.
Thank you, Josh,
did you see the interactions between Simon and him already the first time are really weird, because from the start, Simon just calls this black guy brother.
Right.
And I think that's why the character is called that. It's,
like it's not even his name, it's just because he's called brother once by gamer Simon.
I would say that he is the size of an average human brother, but he's not. He's actually much larger.
Yeah, especially if you factor in his arms.
They do a really cool thing, I think, with his head in this, like when he hacks in, because they just keep cutting to like him doing other things.
Yeah, I do have to say, like, much of the human stuff, we get to see way too little of it, but that stuff's kind of cool.
You like the software?
Software?
The walkie-talkie player.
No shit. You're the guy from the TV, the humans.
That's right, baby. You think about what the brother said?
To what brother do you refer, brother?
Cable wants the freedom to ass kick. Do shit his way. You gonna give it to him?
You were listening?
We see and hear everything that goes on inside the so-called game.
All right then. Cable said we got lucky, that they were gunning for us. What's that all about?
Cable got a past. He knows things. Things he don't even know.
Oh, what things?
Things that Castle's afraid of. As long as your boy stays on the inside, Castle knows he can keep him quiet. But if he ever got out, Castle would never let that happen.
There's one battle left. I think I can handle my own business. Thank you very much.
You're not hearing me. This is not something you can control. They gonna kill his ass, Simon. In the eyes of the world, and then what? You just another poor little rich honky. Poor little rich honky. No cable, no pussy, no shit.
You could say from here on out, it's one battle after another.
What Ludacris then proposes here, I think, is a mod that would reduce the ping between.
No.
I don't know what's happening
He's
here.
getting
What
rid
is
of the
happening?
partition. He's saying, like, we're going to override everything so that Gerard Butler takes over.
Gerard Butler is losing his strings as well. This is he's going stringsless as well.
Yes, and yet criminally, we do not hear Gerard Butler sing "I have no strings on me."
No,
which I think is one of the major crimes of this movie.
We do get enough singing later, though.
We do.
Yeah. You can kind of tell that they maybe at one point almost considered making this an ironic musical, but I'm on some level I'm glad they didn't, but also I want to see that version.
I do too. I'll tell you one thing I didn't want to see, which is Gerard Butler spewing up an entire bottle of vodka, but it's something that we see in this movie.
Yeah, sure do.
The mystery woman in the prison comes back and is like, "Oh, we're gonna cut your strings. Is there anything I can do to help you?"
Right.
And he's just like, "Get me drunk."
Right.
And then the scene ends, and it's like the next day, which is the game.
It's Sunday. Yep. It's time for the next session of Slayer.
A better movie would make this the climax of the film, but we're like, I don't know, 45 minutes.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We are
Stop pausing to look at the runtime. Don't worry about it.
We're getting to the classic thing where Neveldine and Taylor realize they need to somehow add a third act to a movie,
they've run out of
they have yet to figure out how to do that in any movie.
So Sunday, then, he shows up with his bottle of vodka. He chugs the entire thing.
There's a guy who talks through an intercom being like, "What are you doing? Don't do that. Throw it away.
Hey, stop.
But somehow all the security guys they had earlier in the prison complex, they're just not there, and he can just do whatever.
All the guys who beat you for talking.
Nah, their contracts are
and
up.
So the payoff for this, I guess, is that he is finding a way to fuel a car?
Yeah, the crafting tree in this game is crazy.
All you need to fuel a car, which we are shown that it's an ethanol only car, just to make sure this makes sense logically.
I did notice that.
This is important.
On the inside of the fuel cap,
They had to show this because otherwise
so it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Otherwise someone would complain that this movie doesn't make sense.
He drives at a really long distance.
Yes, I was gonna say this. You can drink a small bottle of vodka in its entirety. You can then survive like the wildest battle in Call of Duty, get to a car park, and then puke and piss into a gas tank. Like, miss half of it. We do get some gross white shot where he's standing in his own puke and piss. For some reason. They figured out how to do whites, I guess.
For that one shot, yes.
He drives this truck for like, I don't know how long, like half an hour in real time. Really
like
fast and dodging shit and everything.
It's a future car. They're very efficient.
Yes.
So basically, if you ever want to steal a car from a dealership, all you need is a bottle of vodka. And also, when you puke and piss it out, you immediately become completely sober.
You're fine.
That's right.
This, I was so confused. I thought the alcohol was how he was able to break the connection. If you get really drunk, then it overrides the other stuff.
That would make more sense.
And it's like, no, this is a separate thing that he's just also doing right now.
This is definitely also on the list of things they just thought would be cool.
Yeah.
I have two very pressing thoughts about this. One, when he gets drunk, he decides to get out of Call of Duty by making it into a Dark Souls by just fat rolling his way out of any given danger. And number two, at what point as Gerard Butler are you reading the script and you reach the screen direction, I piss into a gas hole. Do you agree to do the movie?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's rumors that he wanted to take his name off of this movie, but like, my guy, you read the script.
He had a scene just like this in P.S. I Love You.
That's what the P stands for.
I think it's also important that in this whole puking and pissing into a gas tank scene, we get a out of the gas tank shot of him puking and then of him pulling down his zipper. But if they really have balls, they get some body double to show it.
But they're afraid of dicks.
Show me the balls.
They show scrote in the second Crank movie, but they still don't show dick. They are so terrified of it.
And it's not like this movie isn't R-rated anyways.
Right.
Like this isn't like,
come on.
This isn't like a you can show boobs once in a PG-13 movie. This is like
just get a cock double for Christ's sakes. So the arena here it starts outdoors, and it's the big fucking dam on Juan Tabo that people recognize from Breaking Bad when Jesse's about to get picked up to go to the vacuum store.
Oh, yeah.
It's color graded to look like the quarry we've seen earlier, which doesn't make sense at all.
And it's nowhere near that quarry. So I shot something here in 2010. And that was the thing everyone brought up was like, oh yeah, it's the gamer dam. That's what everyone was calling it on the crew.
No, I'm telling you, this ripples out. The lake is turbulent.
Yeah, this affects one student film in 2010.
Yeah, I do think this is a film only people who make films or talk about films have ever seen.
Yeah,
which is why it somehow ripples out in the effects thing.
And there's so many people who are like, it's actually surprisingly good. And I have to say, absolutely not. It is not surprising. Good. No. You might have fun with it, but it is not good at all.
It is surprising. It is surprisingly fun.
Yes,
it is surprising. Yeah. It's definitely surprising.
Yeah,
that's what I'll give it.
But also, that dam is nowhere near the parking garage. They're just making a complete mess of Albuquerque's
Unbelievable.
geography.
They botched it. They've made an absolute boob of us.
Can we get a CinemaSins thing in here?
Dang! How the fuck did he get to that parking garage?
Would it improve your opinion of this movie if I told you that the original title of it was supposed to be Citizen Game?
That makes
like Citizen Kane.
Yes,
they should have done it. They should have done it.
There's no game in Citizen Game.
Now that he is fully outside of the containment zone, Gerard Butler is free.
Gamer Simon has been completely cut off. His feet, he doesn't even see where Gerard Butler is.
He's going like, what are you doing? I'm going to lose. Why are you trying to survive? Are you stupid?
There's this weird thing where Gamer Simon is also wearing a white t-shirt that just has a picture of a pair of tits on it. And earlier we saw a woman who is, I guess, presumably a Cable fan, although it doesn't establish anything. We see a woman in a crowd at what I believe is Santa Ana Star Casino Arena.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Which is where the end of Lemonade Mouth was filmed. And she opens her shirt to show this molded plaster pair of tits that she is wearing.
Yeah.
So I think the tits are supposed to be the symbol for Gamer Simon. Unclear. But I just had to point it out because I saw that they were trying to do something and it is not possible to tell what it is.
So at this point, now that he's on the outside, Gerard Butler obviously needs to accomplish his super objective. He needs to get back to his wife and his daughter. Yeah. Allison Lohman at this point shows up to get him to safety. It turns out she was also the one who was dropping him the thing in the jail or whatever, and escorts him via motorcycle.
Her hair is crazy in this too. Oh my God.
It's wild. Yeah. And escorts him to the hacker campus where Ludacris lives with all of his buddies.
It's got these arcade games, and when they stand around the arcade games, it does the hacker thing where it projects the screen of Galaga or whatever on their faces.
And so at this point, we finally get the stakes for why this all matters in a bigger picture sense.
And why me? Because Castle's afraid of you, man.
It ain't just a game, Tillman. Every day there's more people stepping forward, want to be a part of Castle's world, throwing away everything it means to be human.
Right now it's the desperate ones. Convicts, addicts, the sick, the poor, the ones that fell through the cracks.
The federal prison system is growing out of control, set to bankrupt the whole damn USA. Then Castle rides in on a white horse, says he has a plan to bail us all out and we just fall in line.
The healthcare system is collapsing.
And this time he's pushing for total control over genetic disease. Birth defects no longer an issue. All we gotta do is exchange our cells for the ones he wants to give
Promise
us.
of a longer life and a fatter wallet. I mean, you think people will refuse?
No. And then the next thing you know, we're all slaves.
Wow, I can't believe Mark Neveldine and his wife, Allison Lohman, who he met on the set of this movie, are anti-vax. That's crazy.
We're gonna see this in this movie 2 scenes after this, which is that Gerard Butler's character, Cable, does not give a shit about the bigger stakes.
No,
for him, this is entirely about his wife and kid and nothing else. He straight up does not give a shit that they did a government conspiracy to him. Yeah. He's just like, I don't care about this. Just let me go get my kid. It's weird how little he cares about the greater thing to a degree that makes no sense, because it's so deeply personal to him.
They made him kill his friend.
Yeah, he was patient zero. They made him. But he doesn't care. That's not relevant to him. It's all about his daughter. It's it suddenly turns into a revenge thriller written by guys who only ever watched revenge thrillers, but never experienced emotions in real life.
It's like those guys on Twitter who are like, I will kill thousands of people for my baby daughter.
Yeah, but they wouldn't suck off thousands of monkeys.
One of the big problems with this movie is that it like all the stakes are running parallel to each other, but they never really coalesce into anything larger. Like, yes, Michael C. Hall is the big bad of this film, but it seems like taking him down doesn't. It does change things, but it doesn't really, like, it's not like he contains the kill switch. Like, if you kill him, it takes down this vast network. Yeah. The ultimate achievement of this movie is accomplished because Gerard Butler asks a guy really nicely to stop.
Yeah, and it's actually Neveldine himself playing a role in the movie.
No way!
Yes.
I did notice Milo Ventimiglia, who appears in Society as a character named Rick Rape.
Yes.
I wonder what he does.
He's big into crochet.
I imagine a drama YouTube video from Moist Critical just titled "The Rick Rape Situation is Crazy."
So we are now back in the metaverse. We are eating bugs in the metaverse.
Going to the bar where everyone eats tarantulas.
Kira Sedgwick, meanwhile, is tracking Gerard Butler's wife because Gerard Butler's wife is back on the clock
and
again,
she
right?
wants a big story. Yeah. That's all she cares about.
That's right.
None of the stories are connected. She has no personal morals or understanding. She's they call her a media whore later, and it's just
which is weird because she's like on their side.
Yeah, it's also
listen. Her eyebrows are not going to bedazzle themselves. Okay.
I mean, it's also really weird because like this movie's relationship with women is otherwise like really normal.
And
for some reason,
if only they would stop menstruating and tell me.
I did like the thorax bar just because there was color there. There was like a look to this place.
So Gerard Butler's wife progresses through this super bright, crazy thing.
Yeah, just lots of blue and colors and lights and drinks
Greens
that are black light.
She is once again being controlled by that same shirtless fat guy from before.
I think he's called Gerald or something.
Yeah,
or George.
I'm going to call him Gerald. Like Gerald, but he sits in a chair.
Yeah, we see that he needs oxygen because, he's a fat guy.
Oh, it's George, but we can call him
George.
Okay.
We're calling him Gerald. So Gerald is having Gerard Butler's wife, his avatar, flirt with Rick Rape, who is here played by Milo Ventimiglia.
Apparently he was banned before for something we could only guess.
Yeah.
I wonder what it could have been.
But he was like, that was last year. I'm a different guy now.
And also this is this encounter is consensual on the part of the players, but obviously, of course, not on the part of the
But
avatars.
that's already how the whole thing works.
Yeah, it already is that, yes.
And so they're about to begin a scene, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they go to this weird little hotel room.
But all of a sudden, Gerard Butler comes in and fucking snaps Rick Rape's back over his knee.
He does the Bane thing.
We've now had like 4 different people just walk into society and not get stopped, even though what we know from Slayer is that there's like all these camera drones and shit.
There's a whole world run by like paramilitaries.
But you can just, walk over to Civic Square, I guess, or whatever it's called.
Civic Plaza.
Civic Plaza.
Yes.
Sorry.
Very important.
Now, another guy who is there without authorization is Terry Crews. It turns out he's also there and he's trying to hunt down Gerard Butler. And so then we get this very, very long action sequence where they are running around.
Well, even before
this.
that, we have a very long sequence in this elevator where Terry Crews decides to kill 2 avatars while Gerald is watching and
he's like
jacking his stomach off. Right. So when she gets out of the elevator, Gerard Butler has run down the stairs really fast because it's a very slow elevator and does not kill Terry Crews.
The Mass Effect.
Why does he not kill Terry Crews?
And then kills everybody else and leaves.
Does Terry Crews come back?
Yes, he does. He's
at the
he's at the basketball court at the end of the movie.
Oh my God, that's
right. For whatever fucking reason, he just doesn't kill him here.
It doesn't even really matter plot wise because his return at the end is not like
it's a one and done.
It's basically a callback.
Yeah.
It's so anticlimactic. It's insane. And meanwhile, as Gerard Butler is, running around and shooting guys in this crazy ass club.
Yeah, we go to another club that's not the same as the
Thorax. I love this Newton's Cradle thing. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, with the ladies in the fucking
I do have to say, the thing I really, really like about this nightclub sequence that I think a lot of action movies could learn from, because everyone does nightclub sequences now and it's awesome. I recently played a DJ set in a like very industrial space and it was like, holy shit, I'm in John Wick and they're gonna start silently shooting people in my audience. That's besides the point. But the thing I really, really, really liked about this scene that more people should steal is there's lots of UV light in this scene.
Yep.
And the blood glows and
So
it looks
cool.
so cool. And how come John Wick hasn't done this yet? They do a nightclub scene every movie and they have yet to think of the simple idea of, oh, blood glows in UV light. People know this from NCIS Miami or whatever.
Well, and from Gamers.
Everyone remembers this from Gamer. We all went and saw Gamer.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just like if as an action director you can take one thing away from Gamer, it's
please
this.
take nothing else, but take this.
Take this and maybe the colors.
Yeah.
Only from this part though, nothing else.
I do have to say, the Newton's Cradle, we have these like naked ladies in plastic balls that are swinging and hitting each other and all that. And then during the ensuing gunfight, one of the ladies gets shot in her plastic ball.
This is funny though. They do the exact thing in one of the John Wicks, right?
No,
they have
I don't know about John Wick, but it happens in Crank. It happens in Crank 1 at the very end of the movie when they meet up with the Chinese guy who's Korean.
Yes.
He has just a bunch of plastic balls full of naked ladies in them, and one of them gets shot. So I think this is just one of the director's fetishes, is just like putting naked ladies in plastic balls. Like he played Super Monkey Ball once, and he was like, wait a second, I know how I can make this better.
It's a fucking gachapon fetish.
We also have geeks here, like guys who have the meat hooks in them swinging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're like, I have heard about Berghain once.
Yes. And I didn't look into it, but I would not be surprised if those were local hires, is what I will say about the central New Mexico community.
Meanwhile, parallel to all of this, young Simon, is getting grilled by the cops.
Extremely heavy interrogation.
That's right. One of those cops is played by the inimitable Keith David.
In addition, your father's bank accounts have been frozen, pending further investigation. After all, it was essentially his money that funded Mr. Tillman's escape. Now, I need you to tell me everything that happened leading up to yesterday afternoon. Everybody you talked to, everything you saw, everything you did. And I need you to tell me that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna need something too.
Oh, really? And what might that be?
Could you guys do a sandwich like peanut butter, almond butter, walnut butter, pecan butter, pistachio butter, pretty much any kind of, nut butter with some grape jelly?
Pistachio butter. They make that?
It's awesome.
Weirdly, this is a callback because he makes a sandwich the first time we see him with pistachio butter.
I am also pretty sure this is supposed to be a class signifier.
Sure, because it's expensive.
Pistachio is very expensive.
Right.
He's like,
it's a Dubai sandwich.
He's trashy because he's a gamer, but he eats expensive sandwich.
He also cuts the crusts off of the sandwich.
I don't know if it's any more complicated than the fact they wanted him to say nut butter.
Sure.
I am not convinced that there is a joke to this beyond
Well, they have
nut
nothing
butter.
for him for the rest of the movie because we have this part, he's in jail, he's getting questioned, and then he gets let out, and okay.
He gets let out, and I think it's vaguely implied that maybe the CEO guy let him go, but it doesn't really make sense, or maybe his dad, or...
He goes back to the goon cave.
That scene didn't need to be in there. It doesn't do anything.
But there are a lot of scenes like this, and this is, I guess, the only reason I wanted to include that scene, other than hearing Keith David's voice, obviously,
of course,
is just like there are so many scenes like that where it's like, what is this and why is this here? This scene serves no mechanical function. It's not funny, and the acting isn't really even good.
It's just giving kind of like first student film writing where it's like, oh, I need to show everything, otherwise people get confused, which is funny given a lot of the things that matter. This film just sort of implies at best, where it's like, oh, you understand this because this guy did that 5 minutes ago. But meanwhile, we have to see that this guy's... It doesn't even matter that he was arrested. No. This is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, it's this weird thing, like, because something has to happen to him. He has been playing along with the hackers, so he has to get caught, or he has to be going through something because they've decided he's going to be important in the climax. You also just can't drop the character, but they couldn't figure out how to actually fit it in. So it's like, I don't know, interrogation scene.
Probably been better if they just dropped the character.
Right, if he just disappeared. But it's Gamer. He's got to be the protagonist, right?
He is the gamer from Gamer. The thing I only noticed now just listening to the scene is how long and slow this scene is that we didn't even need. Why does it take up like 2 minutes or so?
30 seconds of that scene is just the list of different kinds of butters.
And I will tell you, I trimmed it down. It used to be longer. The hackers try to kill the link in Gerard Butler's wife's brain, and they eventually succeed. We also learn...
Oh, we have to keep her unconscious. Next scene, she's conscious. They did it.
She's great now. Don't worry about it. Through flashback, we also learn Gerard Butler's backstory, which is that he was in early experiments for what would end up becoming Slayer.
We learn the thing we basically already knew.
That's right. The big twist, though, is that not only was he being remotely controlled when he shot that guy, it was Michael C. Hall who personally pulled the trigger.
Yeah, which he somehow had in his flashback.
This is very 90s. This is very X-Files. It's very Gulf War, the first one. It's like anthrax vaccine, Timothy McVeigh shit. It's like everything that would happen in the Tracy Let's Play bug. It's kind of refreshing to see that come back in 2009 because these guys who are feel like neocons to me are trying their best to come up with a social satire of a society that they mostly agree with.
Yeah, to me this kind of felt a little bit like a Ghost in the Shell, but done very badly.
Yeah.
And not that I want to say that they know what Ghost in the Shell is. It's just, to me, an interesting narrative parallel is that they do shit like that, but they actually explore what it means.
There's another kind of interesting idea that shows up here, which is that, after the fat guy has his link cut off with Cable with a K's wife, these guys show up at his house.
Yes, it's all of Michael C. Hall's goons.
Yeah, they call themselves tech support, and they're like a paramilitary organization. Maybe it's implied that they're going to kill him.
I think that's what's implied. But...
R.I.P. Gerald. You lived how you died in the chair.
And it's an interesting new thing to introduce to the story. They don't do anything after this.
Nope. Well, no, they sit around in the stands.
Yeah, we see them. It's like, oh yeah, it's those guys. It's tech support. Oh, they're not moving. They're not going to be a problem for this scene. Okay, great. They're just there.
Isn't that the director of this film? Shouldn't he be directing us?
What's he doing in the stands? Simon does get released from jail. He goes back to his goon cave. It's just full of messages calling him a cheater.
Now his green screen dimension has turned into the cyberbullying dimension.
That's right, which really says a lot about society.
There are no cum dumpsters here.
Everyone here is hacking everyone all the time, but also we have all this future technology. I think one thing I also want to say, I hate talking about plot holes because I think it's a bit annoying and trite, but there's this whole thing where the humans always see and know everything, but a fucking Castle doesn't even know when someone cheats in his fucking video game.
Right.
Maya, are you saying that perhaps Simon should have checked his firewall?
He should have maybe had Castle's firewall guys go over his fucking Gooner virtual production stage.
Let's get the director in here. Can tech support get in here?
I think the important thing as well is I think that to some degree Simon's goon cave serves as a bit of a Chekhov's goon cave.
Chekhov's goon
for the house where everything is a goon cave.
What if Simon's goon cave is just sort of like a shadow of the much larger goon cave that we then end up seeing Michael C. Hall have? What if this is in fact Plato's goon cave?
Also, the thing I do want to say is if they were smart about writing, they would have probably made Simon Castle's son. Because he's like a nepo baby of a rich guy.
That makes more sense because everything connects back to Castle. Because Castle adopted the daughter.
Let's get to that, shall we? Because Gerard Butler now has the ultimate thing that he must do, which is go to Michael C. Hall's house and face him down, face Castle down for the ultimate prize.
It's like a museum. They love shooting villain houses at things that look like museums. And I think the interior might be a museum, but I'm not sure. It could also just be a weird soundstage.
Gerard Butler's kid, his daughter, is here at the house. He sees her. She's actually, I wasn't sure if this is a projection or if she's just like in a cell
I think
that
she
is
a projection in this moment. I think he says that.
Yes, Caslo's like, wow, future display technology, isn't it crazy? And while he says that, we see this screen from a different angle and see it has like 3-dimensional depth and parallax, which is not explained at all, and no other future display in this show has this. I want to at this point also quickly say that this movie loves projecting things onto houses.
Yes, it does.
Everywhere and onto anything, which always looks terrible. But then at the same time, we have these like full room displays that look perfectly realistic, which is like, it's interesting to contrast screen mode blending and After Effects as advertising to like 3-dimensional like parallax display that's shaped like a door, so you can like Roadrunner
taunt your enemies one time.
And so this is where I need to raise a very important point that I realized. This is an important part of the plot that I hadn't mentioned. One thing that we discovered earlier when Gerard Butler's wife went to social services is that she no longer has custody of her daughter because the state has declared that she is incapable of raising this child due to the fact that she works in society.
Yeah, and the dad is like convicted of first-degree murder, and the guy at Social Security just makes fun
he starts
of her
laughing
and laughs, which is interesting because it's like makes fun of Social Security stuff as like a thing. It's like commentary on how Social Security services is bad and evil, which is interesting because these neocon directors definitely love Social Security being bad
but they
and
don't
evil.
love they don't love child protective services, and they definitely don't like the way that the courts are getting in the way of fathers' rights.
They're tearing apart nuclear families. These big fat cat CEOs in the government are taking daughters away from their dads. I mean, it's why it's important that
Second Life is taking daughters away from their mothers.
That's right. It's why it's important that it's a daughter and not a son. Right, it's all part of like what we see with the sort of fascist ideation today. Is it's always like protecting my little blonde daughter that I also probably want to fuck. Right? I mean, to the point where Terry Crews even says you have 2 whores back home. Right? Referring to his child.
The big twist then here is that this child was placed with a family that the state believed, would be better suited to raise this child. And wouldn't you know it, that family is Michael C. Hall.
The family is Elon Musk. Yeah,
that's right.
Also, this we heard this from like he was walking out of the door, and the humans are like, "Yo, this is really hard to figure out," but they left like some breadcrumbs so we could piece it together. It's kind of implied that the government has no records of who they give foster children to.
So at this point, I'd like to get to the final showdown. Between Gerard Butler and Michael C. Hall.
The most beautiful part of this.
Absolutely, because
genuinely like fun on purpose.
You could have told me what was going to happen here. You could have explained the whole scene to me, and I still would not have been able to fully grasp what happens here, because Gerard Butler gets in to Michael C. Hall's house. After seeing this projection of his daughter, he walks down the stairs and he sees that Michael C. Hall is standing there in the middle. There are 2 lines of men who are just standing parallel to him, facing opposite each other. And then this happens. Michael C. Hall here is like in silhouette, and he's moving his body in a very unusual way.
And all the guys around him are like mimic.
Yeah, they're all snapping, but he's like kind of hanging limp like a puppet.
Now, this is not actually Michael C. Hall singing. This is the Sammy Davis Jr. rendition.
It should be him.
It should be him because he's a song and dance man. He can really fucking sing. People forget about this.
Yeah, this is 10 years after he did the Sam Mendes Cabaret.
Yeah, he replaced Alan Cumming in Cabaret.
This is the part of the movie I sat up. I wish it were sillier. The thing is, like, they get into a fight sequence here that is mostly very boring. And I think it could have been a lot more fun in the hands of, I'm just going to say it, queerer directors.
Well, it also intercuts to like everyone in Humans getting killed. And instead of doing a proper like rhythmic, like going back and forth, getting those people killed with the dance, it's just like noise, and it takes you away from the dance sequence for a second before bringing us back in.
I think it's fascinating though, because you wouldn't think these two directors would have the balls to actually be like, what if it became a musical briefly and then actually do that?
It's so crazy.
It's genuinely the first time I watched it. This is part of why this is for me like a 3-star movie. Yeah. It's not because it's that they at some point that they have these points in this movie where they're suddenly like, wait, we're making a fun movie. Let's do something fun. And it's so crazy. Yeah. This genuinely, like, even on a rewatch, this still like surprises me sometimes because it's like, that's insane.
I think I am a huge fan of contrasts, right? And I think all the art that I most respond to presents something that you are expected to feel one way about and then undercuts it with something that is its complete opposite. And that is what this dance sequence is, right? It is a very whimsical thing that's being done in this very horrific way, right? The henchmen that are around him have their like faces half blown off. Yeah. Like they are these ghoulish creatures they're sort of implied
to be like maybe previous casualties of Gerard Butler in the game.
Yeah. And I can say they just took this from BioShock.
Sure.
Like, come on.
Yeah, this is Fort Frolic.
This is the reason Michael C. Hall definitely took this movie, right? Yes. I 100% think he read this in the script. He's like, oh, I get to be a song and dance man, and you're going to pay me how much money to occasionally do a Southern accent, and then in this scene and the rest of the movie, the Southern accent is just gone.
And they wanted him specifically, too. They talk about this. They talk about the fact that this was an early thing that was in the draft, and they wanted him specifically because he was in Dexter.
It is kind of like the role that seems the most written for the person who actually plays it. Not that it's written like well to him or anything, but a lot of the rest of the casting is just, oh, we could get this person, I guess.
The rest of the movie is so deeply unfun because we've had this sort of climax moment of we've had the song and dance number and now we gotta go play some basketball.
We go into the big computer of imagination that can put you on the moon orbiting Mars.
We're in the Matrix now.
You know, we were going into the metaverse, and I thought maybe we were in the Meta Horizons NBA experience. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Where if you walk over to the edge and look down, the basketball court is 9,000 feet below you.
And Terry Crews is at the other end throwing some ball.
Also, the tech support guys have like iPads, I think, or something along those lines. Some tablet-like
it would
thing.
actually be before the iPad. So whatever tablet they had was a pre-iPad tablet.
Gamer invented the iPad.
And so from here, we get Michael C. Hall revealing his grand villainous plan for everything.
So you got an army of psychotics and deviants to dance around for you.
You're thinking small, Cable, but not as small as me. See, nanocells are real small. 1,000 times smaller than these dust particulates. You inhale it, they go to work replicating, spreading like a virus, multiplying in exponentials. 6 months' time, I could have 100 million people converted, ditch diggers, porn stars, and presidents. Not one would be the wiser. 100 million people who buy what I want them to buy and vote how I want them to vote. Do pretty much damn well anything I figure they ought to do.
Yeah, no, we didn't need this explained to us. Like we all figured out that's what was happening.
This was quite obvious at this point. It's especially given this movie loves to under-explain absolutely everything else. They were at the end. They were like, okay, maybe someone somehow made it to here without understanding what happened before.
This movie with all the mind control in it. Turns out it's all about mind control.
What?
Nanomachines.
They're really tiny. Did you know that nanomachines are small?
Wow. I just want to point out that Terry Crews comes back immediately after this. He has his neck snapped one way, and then he has his neck snapped again the other way. And I'm like, you need to snap it a third time? Because he'll be like, oh no, my neck. Oh, thank God you fixed it. Oh no. And then he's
That's
down.
not how that works, AJ.
They had such a great setup for a bit, and they just didn't take it.
The important thing about Terry Crews here is that Terry Crews is suddenly bad at fighting, and it's because, get this, Michael C. Hall is now mind controlling him, so there's
lag.
He has strings.
The whole point of Terry Crews is that he doesn't have lag, and they introduced lag.
Yes, and then like Gerard Butler is like, ooh, he would have probably killed me if you didn't have strings attached. And Michael C. Hall is like, you are missing the point, and it's like, what point?
And now Gerard Butler's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then Michael C. Hall's like, no, I'm gamering you now.
Michael C. Hall explains his evil plan.
Right.
Then we cut away to like the reporter, the media whore, and the one hacker who survived. They're like logging into a terminal from his company, and they're like starting to broadcast this live everywhere, which is the Times Square and the Goon Cave of Simon. That's basically
everywhere. Everybody is seeing this, but the speech is over. He already said
the speech is over. The thing that's funny is the one point where we cut back to everyone watching this is when Michael C. Hall says, ooh, I'm so bad. And then that echoes like twice, and everyone is like, holy shit. Everyone's
bad.
He's so bad.
He just says, I'm so bad.
You know, these tech support guys did not check his firewall.
And I guess in real time, everyone's seeing that Cable is alive. I mean, most people, it's just like, this thing just popped up. And Cable is just standing next to Michael C. Hall.
Yeah, Michael C. Hall is like trying to kill him. And trying to get him to kill his daughter, I think.
Oh, that's right. He's going to get him to kill his daughter. But then Gerard Butler breaks free. Why? Because gamer Simon has control of him again, even though he's not in like the geofence anymore.
And even though by the like rules that we have established up until this point, Simon being in control of him is going to make him inherently less effective because of the latency.
Because he somehow strings detached but attached. Their powers like combine.
Yeah.
So now he's controlled by himself and by Simon.
It's both of their wills against him.
And then we get to the end of this fight scene is the one cool bit where Gerard Butler suddenly realizes, wait, I can psyop this guy. Because he says like out loud, anything I imagine happens. So he's just like, ooh, imagine this knife going in your stomach, me stabbing you. And this is conceptually really cool, but it's just, this suddenly happens, and then it's just, he gets stabbed. There's like no back and forth.
Yep.
And it's
There's no sense of pace.
Yeah, it's just that one brief concept. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You can influence what he does by like really talking him into thinking of something.
But in that case, you shouldn't have
happen.
Gamer Simon involved. It should just be that. It should just be your body like talking to him while you're about to stab your daughter or something.
Didn't need to come back. He could have just like been like, ooh, anything you think of happens. Why? Just think of me doing all these epic things. And you could have had like a fight built around this rather than it being like think of me stabbing you, and then he stabs him and then it's over. It's
or like, what if Simon gets back in, but he's working with the hacker and Kira Sedgwick and her diamond eyebrows, right? Because then they're working together, and instead he's able to hack into Gerard Butler's wife, and then she's the one who delivers the killing blow.
No, that would mean that a woman did something in this movie, Brian, and we can't have that.
What if they just all started sucking and fucking? What if they all got nude?
They introduced a little bit earlier on in the movie that the controllers themselves could make their avatars do like defy gravity. Like there's one guy who gets like thrown into the air impossibly high in the quarry. Yeah. And it was like, why couldn't you have had any of that in this final battle with Michael C. Hall? Like give him like superpowers.
No,
at
instead,
the very least.
Gerard Butler dispatches Michael C. Hall quite easily. And then he turns over to Mark Neveldine and is like, hey, the guy who directed this movie, can you push the button on your iPad to set me free? And he's like, yep.
And then it set everybody free. And he's just like,
and also he just says, well played, Cable, while walking past
what
him.
Did he do?
It is just literally, this is like how Trump thinks regime change work. You just kill one guy and then they're like, oh, well played. You own this country now.
That's right.
You win.
And so we get Gerard Butler driving with his family off into the sunset, into a tunnel. And that's the end of the fucking movie.
And it's not even a sex metaphor.
And that's in Colorado. So they leave New Mexico and that's where they find freedom.
Come on.
Right now, Gerard Butler convinces them to turn it all off by being like, you have this doesn't matter to you. And it's like, huh?
It's the whole thing keeping the American economy afloat, and everyone's like, we should just stop it.
And like it's the job where you get to kill people and whatnot, and it's like, oh no, this doesn't matter to me at all. Actually, no, that's fine.
And so I guess pulling it all together here, now that we've had the opportunity to exhaustively review the classic Gerard Butler film Gamer 2009,
the ripples, Josh, the ripples.
We've talked a lot about the things that this movie seems to have to say about violence, about gender, about a lot of other things. I think we're all in agreement that it's not really saying anything.
Oh, no. It's saying stuff, just not the things it's thinking.
And so I guess that's my question, right? Is like, what do we think this movie was trying to do and trying to say, other than make legs cramp? And then what do you think it actually does and actually says?
I think this movie is like a conservative guy who maybe doesn't know yet that he's conservative. Conservative guy's idea of like a movie against authority. This is like, I would assume they at the time thought of themselves as like libertarians or something.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very 2009 libertarian code.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have thought of themselves as conservative because they made these like nasty movies full of like tits and stuff. So it's not evangelical and it's not prudish. And I do think it's interesting that there's this split where Neveldine kind of goes off and he seems to be the more right-wing one, and Taylor starts working with like Grant Morrison.
It's interesting too if you think about this as a 2009 movie. Barack Obama has just been inaugurated president of the United States, but we are still in the shadow of the global war on terror.
This is a Bush movie through and through, even though it came out when Obama was president.
I think it's also very clearly a like financial crisis movie with the weird commentary on. I find it interesting that their commentary is private prisons are draining our money away, which makes zero sense whatsoever.
That was kind of that's kind of where we landed, and I think you actually do see this a lot in American discourse of being like, well, you know, the problem is private prisons. In New Mexico, that's certainly true. Thanks, Gary Johnson. But at the same time, because you can easily point to them and see the issue of like, oh yeah, they have these quotas. There's all this money that just goes to them, even though they're a private concern. They make profits. There are all these excesses to the issues of running a private prison. And you can conveniently ignore the fact that it's endemic to all prisons. It's our entire prison system that is this problem.
It's just that there's an additional layer of perverse rent-seeking behavior. And I think maybe that's what I think about with this movie more broadly, is like, it's so much of it is about this like, hey, man, everybody's just trying to profit, man. But all of these things are so messed up. But there's no real attempt to confront anything underlying these systems of pervasive societal violence, you know?
I think it's very interesting that this movie that is all about doing fucked up shit to death row prisoners with consent, which is very clearly even implied to not really realistically be a thing these people actually want. Like the first scene of them in the bus, there's people saying like, I'm not supposed to be here and shit like that, even though they allegedly signed up voluntarily. I think this movie then doesn't say anything about imprisonment. Well, like the movie's actual take does seem to be all of these people who are in prison are evil, except this one guy who got government conspiracy in
this
there.
One white guy.
Who's a white
cool
family guy. He's a white guy who has like a family.
A regular Peter Griffin.
Yes, exactly. I find that very interesting because this movie, even if it's not good at saying much, if it at least try to say something about like imprisonment, and especially given the main character of this movie is someone who's wrongfully in prison. But this movie doesn't go on to say that anyone else could be wrongfully in prison.
That's just this one guy.
That's just this one guy who got government conspiracy by a program that immediately got shut down because it worked. I still don't really understand that part. Because it's like the Navy was like doing this shit with this guy where you can like mind control soldiers and make super soldiers. And then he killed a guy, which was what they apparently did on purpose. And that shut down the program.
I could understand shutting down the program by like getting everyone killed by one of the guys that you have. You know, like he clears everyone out, but he killed one dude who was just working in a server farm somewhere.
That was what they were doing on purpose. It's like,
hey, remember when that one newscaster was smoking a cigarette with Sean from Psych in it for some reason, like for most of this movie? I feel like there's just a lot of disparate threads of them it feels like watching a movie of somebody like Jason Statham, perhaps, who has jumped out of an airplane and is actively trying to build a parachute, a helicopter on the way down. It is actively trying to like build something. And in a certain respect, like most movies are kind of like that.
Yeah,
right?
they're painting by numbers.
I have never watched a movie that was so incoherent and so actively hated its audience than Gamer.
I think the thing, I said this kind of at the start when you talked about Crank, the thing I find interesting is that as a directorial duo, they could be really cool, but they shouldn't be writing like at all. They should be like maybe idea guys in the writing room who are like, oh, this is a cool thing we heard about that fits the aesthetic we're going for. But
they're going to bring the cocaine,
But someone else needs to write their shit, or they at the very least need to have like a script fixer go over their stuff, because genuinely, like, as much as it's also like shot weird and whatnot, that could be eccentric in a cool way if the story made sense at all. And it doesn't. And I think the only reason the Crank movies are better is because the story is much less ambitious. That's my conclusion, is that the Crank movies and this all have the same problems, more or less. It's just that Crank doesn't try to do as much, so it matters much less.
Well, look, to the point of ambition, we very ambitiously attempted to cover Gerard Butler's film Gamer 2009, and I think we succeeded. But Maya, I wanted to throw to you for a moment and see if there's anything that you would like to talk about, plug, whatever. As always, a delight having you on here. I think AJ's also got a few thoughts to close us out, but before we get there, let me know what you got.
For plugging, I don't have much to plug. You can follow me on Twitter at awawa who am I, which is hard as hell to type from what I just said, or on Blue Sky at crimew.gay, which is not much easier to type out. You can just search for Maia Crimew on both those platforms and probably find me. If you find an account on Twitter that looks like a fan page, that is me. I am pretending to be my own fan page right now.
On the point of script doctors and people who fix scripts, you are looking to offer your services to people who want to write about hackers, right?
I'm trying to more and more do realism consulting stuff for characters that do hacking, that do computer stuff and whatnot, or anything else really that is something I have experience with. I have done this for a short film now, which might turn into a TV show.
Oh, neat.
I've done this for other things where I'm willing to help at every step of the process. In that project, for example, I helped with the writing. I helped with coaching the person who was going to play the hacktivist character in like some things to say and stuff. And I helped on set. I helped the PD department build like a cool hacker then. Nice. And the thing is, I'm not gonna just be like, "Ooh, this isn't realistic." The thing I do like doing is marrying like the realism with the story you're trying to tell, because the best thing is somewhere in the middle between fiction and reality, where it's technobabble that doesn't annoy people, but also isn't like overly realistic, and it fits like the level of realism your story demands. You can find that info on my pinned on Blue Sky, and
And if you're listening to our show for the first time, if Maya, brought you in, hopefully you've had a good time enjoying this episode. I would also say go check out our back catalog episodes where we talked with Maya about Neuromancer and hackers. And if you want even more, we have a very affordable Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to all of our premium episodes, which we release every other week,
including an episode on Cyberpunk 2077.
There's all kinds of great cyberpunk pieces of entertainment. Pretty soon, they're going to be turning Neurospicy into a TV show. So
I am excited.
Neurospicy?
Yeah, William Gibson's Neurospicy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I hope to be back here to discuss that. But
hell yeah.
If you're not a consultant on it, honestly, that's the big thing. Like, we got to get you hired as a consultant on Neurospicy. So I think for all of the ham-fistedness of this film, one thing that Gamer 2009, against all odds, kind of nails is this desire of billionaires to control our lives, not just in terms of what we buy or what we watch, but in terms of what we think and what we feel. Like, Michael C. Hall is so much more charismatic than Mark Zuckerberg, but their main goal is basically the same: to invade our social lives and to build a society that they can understand and that they can control and manipulate. And there's a line that Michael C. Hall has here that we have referenced before. where he says, "Is this bad? I'm really bad." And to that I say, yes, it is. And yes, you are. I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
And I'm the worst of all possible Joshes. See you next week.